and music.
Let us be divided, for the symbol of our strength is unity. Let us show them we can fight with the symbol of our might as we go marching on.
In 1956, the Australian Waterside workers loaded and unloaded a total of 49 million tons of cargo. Timber, foodstuffs, machinery, vehicles, wool, and land. Harry reckons he just doesn't believe in working for the ship owners. Harry's also known as opium, opium being a slow-acting dope. This happy-go-lucky character sets out for work on a 5-o'clocker full of the best intentions. But at 5 minutes to blow up, we find him a bit the worse for wear after a pleasant little session in the rubber heap. Tiddly Pete is quite a character. But this is the sort of caper that could get his mates and his union a bad name. For instance, the press editorial writers feel duty-bound, in the public interest of course, to be on the lookout for this sort of thing. If Tiddly doesn't arrive at the starting gate soon, he's likely to find himself scratched because, you wouldn't want to know, sack 'em plenty's the pano on this job. Here's trouble. Sackham decides it's time to take steps. He politely suggests that Pete had better go home. Well, let's face it, he'll hardly be an asset on the job. But Pete, true to form, has his own ideas. Nickaway Ned is a great believer in shorter working hours. And of course everyone agrees that a shorter working day is a good thing for everybody. But Ned is working shorter hours one out. The time is on the up and Ned is about to make a run. If he can dodge the eagle eye of Sackham. The plot thickens. Who is this mysterious trump? Why is he so interested in what goes on in the hold? Could it be because since Ned's departure there are now only 5 men below? We must wait and see. Meanwhile, Sackham is hot on Ned's trail. Nickaway Ned doesn't know it yet, but he's heading for a sticky end. The trump has nearly finished his sums. He hasn't worked so hard since he added up his profits. He's got the answer, though. Next thing you know, he's in the ear of the bigwig legal trump. He's got proof that 5 below can do the work of 6. The legal trump is very fair. I've heard enough, he says. If 5 below can work that fast, the lot can work like this. The roaster's got a lot of good ideas about how to run everything, and he wants everyone to know. He's got the good oil on government policy, social credit, Jack Lang, Russia, the Epsom favourite, the Ceto Pact, Farlap, Britain's beer, and anything else you can think of. He's also an expert on union policy, and he's got a lot to say on that. Today his topic is the union executive. I don't care what you say, they're not worth a crumpet any way you look at them. Wouldn't spit on you if you was on fire, blah, blah, blah. He's been saying this for 25 years and 17 executives. As an appetite spoiler at lunch hour speeches, the roaster is a world beater. He's off again. Now it's female psychology. The Kinsey Report. These four jokers here are a small minority in a large and industrious labour force. They're really good blokes at heart, aren't you? Maybe you didn't realise that in the long run you only cruel yourselves, your mates and your union. Did you know that? Well, the past is past. Let's look ahead. There's 26,004 of us, and we've got a lot of things to do. Are you blokes going to be in it?
Our union, we built this union we always will defend. And no matter what they say, this union's here to stay, 'cause we'll fight for our union till the end.
In 1957, the film unit produced For's a Crowd for the Wharfies. Like the unit's other films, it was made to counter hostile mainstream press attacks on the union, although in this case, it focused on the personal habits of the rank and file, and it's a comedy. The film shows four different types of worker who, although in the minority, gave all wharfies a bad reputation. Each type is played by Jock Levy, and the film shows wharfies the importance of sticking to the job. It includes a union song written and sung by wharfie Dick Hackett, who accompanied himself on his ukulele. Jock Levy said that the film was a bit of a lark, but had a serious side to it.
A good home is the greatest need of life. There's no place like it. A good place to be born. A good place to spend a childhood. To grow up in happiness and peace. A good place to marry and settle down. A place where you feel you belong. People are proud of their homes. They look after them, paint them up, decorate them, give them flame-colored doors, their own names, and fancy number plates. Fill a window box with flowers. In 1944, the Commonwealth Government Housing Commission stated, "We consider that a dwelling of good standard is not only the need, but the right of every citizen." A good home, the right and need of every citizen. That was in 1944. But today, despite extensive state government and private building, a lot of citizens find that rights have not been granted. Their housing needs unfulfilled. Australia today faces a critical housing problem, a dire shortage of adequate homes. In New South Wales alone, 80,000 families live in substandard houses. In Sydney, 35,000 dwellings have been officially condemned, unfit for human habitation. But people live in them. They have to live in them. The housing shortage means that slums and old, inadequate buildings cannot be demolished. People have to live somewhere. For many, home is a room or two in a tenement. Congested suburbs of smoke and noise. Suburbs where the children play in cramped backyards. No room to run or jump. Play on rubbish dumps. Hemmed in by the shadows of fences. Not much of a home to feel proud of. Overcrowding. Too many people jammed in too little space. One room with a balcony to raise a growing family. One room with a bed on the balcony, with the stove and the sink and the washing. And the wireless next door when the baby should be sleeping. And the baby next door when you're trying to hear the wireless. How can we measure the destructive physical and psychological effect on families, parents and children, of intolerable living conditions? How much sickness and discomfort compressed in a square mile of tenements? How much hopeless frustration to a dingy room? How much monotonous misery to a square mile of slums? A family of 2 adults and 3 children live in this one-roomed flat. No less than 20 people in 6 rooms here. 7 adults in a 4-roomed house with only 2 sleeping rooms. 4 adults and 9 children live here in 2 rooms. Sydney local government health authorities report these typical examples of overcrowding. And things aren't getting any better. Thousands more home seekers are arriving from overseas. But today, immigration means more camps, more congestion. Not a very happy way to start life in a new country. Australia's a land skywide in space and sunshine. Just the place for a home. The kind of home everyone should have. Our architects design ideal homes by the thousand. Good homes, modern homes. Sun-trapped, cantilever, bungalow, Georgian, colonial, Tudor, to suit anyone's tastes and needs. Real homes for families to live and grow in decent surroundings, in the manner of our 20th century civilization. Everything that's needed for a home is manufactured here. In normal times, 30% of Australia's working population has a hand in making homes. Dozens of industries bake bricks and tiles, cut timber, manufacture fittings, furniture, carpets, television sets, refrigerators, gardening tools, and 10,000 more odds and ends. Big things and little things for outsides and insides of homes. There's no shortage of materials. No shortage of material, but there is a falling demand, forcing some manufacturers to curtail production, in some cases, to close down altogether. Neither is there a shortage of skilled building tradesmen. The Building Workers' Industrial Union has 45,000 members, but fewer are being employed on housing and more on commercial buildings. And there is growing unemployment in the industry. The material and manpower to build homes is available. There's a desperate need for homes, but the fact is fewer and fewer are being built. Here are the actual figures. In 1955, just over 82,000 dwellings were built throughout Australia. In 1956, only 78,000 odd. The latest figures to hand for the year ending June 1957 are 68,050, which is 10,000 less than the previous year. And the reason? Ask any prospective home builders. Finance. Take this couple, for example. They've saved up £700 and bought a block of land. The house they want to build would look like this when completed. Timber and fibro, 5 rooms, modest enough, 4 walls and a roof. But 1 million Australians would give their eye teeth to own it. Here's what it would mean in terms of cash. Like most wage earners, our home builder has to borrow the money he needs to build his house. He needs £3,100. And if he's lucky enough to get it, the most favorable interest rate available is 5.5%. Here's where the money goes. Labor costs for building tradesmen, £720. Materials, overhead and profit, £2,380. That totals £3,100, the actual cost of the house. Now the interest has to be paid. The interest, with the loan repaid over 30 years, is £3,298, bringing the total cost of the house to $6,398. There's no way round it. Whichever way you look at it, it's £4.2 a week for 30 years. That's without rates, taxes and maintenance. £4.2 a week. In average figures, that's 9 and threepence for labour, £1.10 and 6 for material, overhead and profit. Interest, £2.2 and 3 a week. That's where the money goes.